So this is a late to the Halloween party Outlast video review, tag team style. So, a little bit about myself. I don't scare easy. I'm not saying I'm a hard macho guy. It's just I'm desensitized, I think, from all the horror games and all the films I've seen. And trust me, I've seen a lot of them. Having said that, though, I found Outlast does actually live up to its rep. I did find it scary. I give it that.
Yeah, well, as I said, when I first downloaded it, I thought to myself, okay, I'm going to try it out. I've heard that it's really scary, and I'm going to play it and see how scared I get. And I'm how can I say? I'm scared very easily. So,
Right.
But I wasn't expecting anything close to what Outlast did to me.
Has it traumatized you?
For the first time it actually, frightened me. I had to turn off the game, seriously.
Wow.
Laugh at me all you want. Yeah, I had to turn it off, and I said to my friend, I had a friend with me.
Yeah.
I wasn't even playing with headset. It was on the TV, coming out of the TV, but and I said to him, I have to walk away. If you're going to play it, fair enough, but I'm not having none of this. So we had to turn it off.
I'm gonna say that it is traumatizing, but I'm gonna draw on later. For now, I'd just like to say I've never played on a game that's made me jump as much as Outlast. I mean, even the times when you can see it so obviously coming, the music is building, you slow down, you're kind of, looking around, but then the game still catches you out.
Yeah.
I think it's within the first hour, there's that guy in the wheelchair.
Yeah. Spoilers, by the way, we spoilers.
Oh, you gotta expect people in wheelchairs. It's an insane asylum.
Yeah.
But you can see this guy through the gate, and you have to be on the other side of him. So you kind of you walk past him very, very slowly. I even crouched, thinking, because we're used to playing stealth games, aren't we? Where you say crouching doesn't make as much noise. It doesn't make a lick of difference in Outlast, unfortunately, because the guy gets you. I'm not going to say how.
Okay, I was gonna do a bit of a spoiler, but it's still new, so let's not spoil it.
No.
We can do a spoiler cast later on.
Yeah, that's right. But yeah, it still totally gets me. And you mentioned to me that there was a point where you actually threw your controller up in the air. Yeah. I did the exact same thing.
That first fright I had, it was literally I was sitting there playing it, and then I'm not going to say what happened, but I got frightened, and the controller just flew out of my hand, and my heart stopped. My heart stopped, and then I thought to myself, no, not having none of this. And the next time I played it, I ended up playing it at 8:30 in the morning.
Nice sunlight.
Yeah.
Something else I liked about it, the enemies really are relentless. They will chase you and chase you and chase you to the end of the world. I mean, we've all been chased before in games that make you feel a little bit helpless, but you could quite easily run into another room, maybe hide under a table, under a bed, in a locker, and they will pass and that will be it. But these guys are cool. They will find you, and even when you are hiding in a locker, they'll come up to you and open the locker and rip you out and just start, hammering into you. And
I love that. Yeah. When I was in the locker for the first time, right, I was like, okay, this is good. I'm going to use the locker whenever I need to. And then, quite a bit down the line, that same dude that I hid from at the beginning, I was running away from him, and then he ripped me out of the locker, which I wasn't waiting for, and I was like, "What the?"
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, there were times when I felt like I couldn't find a locker, or I couldn't find a door, so I was running around and around and around, in circles, and I would peer over my shoulder. The guy's still behind me, and
Yeah.
he doesn't stop. He really, really doesn't stop. And that's when you realize you have to closing doors.
Yeah.
Important to close. There's a tip for you. If you have to play on Outlast, always close the doors behind you. Just slows them down just enough so you can run away. But yeah.
When I first started and I saw that, I realized that I could close the doors, right? I started closing every single door behind me. And then,
absolutely.
But that was before I got chased, and then I just stopped doing it, right? So I thought, well, why am I closing doors for? And I'll leave them open, I said, so I can know where I come from. Yeah, that's easy. That's what I use that technique. And then, as you said, you have to start closing them doors. It's a key feature. It's one of your only weapons, closing doors.
An aspect I really enjoyed is how they managed to use this chase mechanic into like a feature almost. You have to run if there is a button that needs to be pressed and there's a variant stood in front of it, you have to lure him away from it. So you have to make yourself get chased by this horrific thing on purpose, just so that you can fulfill your goal and get your target and push that button. It's a horrible feeling, knowing that you have to pull this dreadful situation onto yourself just to complete the game. I really, really like that aspect, and I wish there was more of it, to be honest.
Well, DLC's coming.
Yeah. Yes.
So
I heard that.
So hopefully by the time we get this up, the DLC won't be open. Well, it won't be out, so it won't be irrelevant. Yeah, but
that's right.
Yeah, so hopefully we get more of that. Just not as I keep saying this. I know every single podcast or video we have. I always say I hope the DLC plays like the original game.
Yes,
even if it's shorter or whatever. As long as it gives the same feeling, I'm up for it.
Yes, it needs to. They've got a good thing going here, and this is another point I'm going to draw on later on. Outlast, they've really crafted a fantastic experience, and you really feel under pressure, but it just falls short a little bit from its length. Just when you feel like you got a big old bite out of the game, it kind of ends. It's not a very long game.
But yeah, maybe that's what, kept it exciting. Yeah, maybe if it was longer or, twice as long, maybe by the time we finished it, we'd have got bored of it.
Perhaps, yeah. And also, it's mentally exhausting playing on the game. So maybe, yeah. Whereas, other games like Resident Evil, they're your scary bits, and then they're your exploring bits.
Yeah.
There's not much exploring, really. It's got in Outlast. There's more going from A to B.
Yeah.
But totally browning your pants in that process.
Yeah. Exactly. There's a couple of bits where, like platforming, shall I say, where you have to go here and there, and I thought, all right, whatever, they're trying, I see what they're trying to do here, but, and then while I'm doing that, there would be an instant where I get scared as well. I'm trying not to spoil it for everyone, but, there'll be bits and bobs here and there where you get scared, but then there's parts where I'm getting chased, but I'm not scared. Right, I'm not scared. I'm just getting frustrated because I can't get away from this dude.
Yeah, that's right.
And I'm like, okay, what do I have to do? I haven't got a weapon. There's not enough doors left because he's bashed them all down. Yeah, yes. I can't find a locker to get in. Even if I did, he'll rip me out of it. And because I'm concentrating on getting away from him, I couldn't concentrate on where I was supposed to be going. So I was going around in circles and circles and circles, and I got frustrated, but maybe that was my playthrough. Maybe, if I had turned left instead of right and found the right place, I wouldn't have felt like that. So I'm not going to, deduct any points from it just because of that. But that was a part of my experience.
I'd like to touch upon the how well the game performs. And I think graphically, it's a good looking game. It's solid. It performs very, very well. frame rate never dropped on me. There were no issues, no bugs, no glitches. But it could have done with a little bit more detail, perhaps.
Yeah, the modeling again, it's not a super ugly game, but it's not up there with
Far from it.
It's not up there with Shadowfall or anything. Yeah, far from Shadowfall. But I think the atmosphere they were going for, like
Yes.
with a bit of grainy atmosphere, with because you had the the camera and all that, and even when you took the camera away, it still looked a bit grainy. But maybe that was a part of the atmosphere they were trying to create, as I said before. But I think the modeling could have been it could have been much more better.
Yeah, it could have. I think the characters could have been a little bit more interesting, perhaps.
Yeah,
I know at the end, again, I'm trying not to spoil it or anything, but these are pretty humanoid creatures, let's just say. But it doesn't really go past anything like that.
Yeah. But again, they looked a bit blocky.
Yeah, they did a bit. Yeah.
So it wasn't nothing spectacular.
No.
Don't expect super duper next gen graphics. But again, graphics has got nothing to do with it.
No.
It's totally the atmosphere they've created. That's the selling point of that game.
Well, the atmosphere is accentuated by the excellent score. I thought the soundtrack was fantastic, and that all the sounds and the screaming, the screeching, the sound department really sold the game for me. The variants, that they really are creepy, aren't they? They're really, the voice acting is tremendous, and but the soundtrack is what really I find makes you jump, because the action is coming. You've seen enough horror films, you've played enough scary games, but the soundtrack, it just builds and builds and builds slowly, and you can feel it coming, and suddenly it just explodes, and then your pad's on the floor, and you realized
your heart's in your mouth.
Yeah, that's right, and it's fantastic, and it just adds such a nice layer to it, and I really enjoyed the soundtrack. I don't think the soundtracks get talked about enough in games, to be honest. It's kind of like,
I love the soundtracks in Final Fantasy games. So
yes, excellent. Yeah, one of my favorite musicians of all time is Akira Yamaoka.
Yeah.
Of the Silent Hill fame. Silent Hill wouldn't be anywhere near what it is if it wasn't for Yamaoka. He famously said, "Silence is also a sound." So that's really, really clever. That's like knowing exactly when to pile on the sounds and the music.
Yeah.
And Outlast does that perfectly. Definitely.
Yeah, I really like the sound, again, added to the atmosphere, the screaming in the background, or the scuffling of feet, or the closing, opening of doors, and it all fits in perfectly. Yeah, nothing feels patched in. It's all good.
I did feel that a little bit weak. It's pretty straightforward. Basically, there's a journalist. He goes to investigate this mega conglomerate, Murkoff, in this asylum, and but he gets stuck. I won't tell you why, and he has to try to escape. I thought the escaping part took precedence over the more interesting aspect of Murkoff. That the really messed up stuff that they did in this asylum is only filled in by the bits of paper and documentation that you pick up around the place. And I just wish that they could have expanded on that a little bit. So you could get the sense of exactly what you're escaping from. You can see what's in front of you, what's horrible, fine. But if they explore the story, you realize why they're horrible.
Yeah.
And I find why they're horrible is even, it sticks in your mind more, which leads me into my next point. Silent Hill. I keep on coming back to Silent Hill because my all-time favorite horror games. It might even be one of my all-time favorite game series. Well,
Yeah,
the first four anyway, and the one on the PSP Origins was excellent. But when you turn Silent Hill off, it's stuck with you,
yeah,
going over in your head. It got you thinking, and I think it's the second one. The first monster you come across, it's just a white figure,
yeah,
and he's stumbling towards you, and you think, oh, it's like he's in a straitjacket or something, and he's struggling out of it. Is he coming at you because he wants to attack you, or is he escaping from something? And it's all these thoughts that's giving another dimension to the monster creation. And that's where Outlast is lacking, really, because as scary as it is, you turn your console off, you get on with your day, you have a cup of tea, and then
exactly.
that'll be it, and your fear evaporates, really, whereas Silent Hill, it really, really sticks with you. And there was plenty of times when I would get to a save point in Silent Hill, and I know what's coming up next, you know, when it transitions into hell, and you just think, oh, I can't play this. You need to muster up this courage in order to get through it. With Outlast, though, I was able to jump back in and out, no problem. I even used remote play on the PS Vita, feeling, yeah, this is all right. You know, I can handle this.
Yeah. My feelings on that exactly the same. You know, as soon as you switch off the PlayStation, you know, the scare is gone. You know, all the claustrophobia, everything. You know, it turns off, and you just, as you said, just carry on with your day. But one of the things I liked about it was that you know, I kept on wanting to go back because the content was in the PlayStation. Right, so it kept on pulling me back. Whereas, you know, with Resident Evil and stuff, yeah, okay, the story is compelling, you know, and you know you want to get through it, and you know, but this, basically, I just kept on going back because I was like, okay, I want to finish this. I want to see what happens next. I want to get out of this place. I want to help this guy get out of this asylum.
Yes.
Yeah. Again. You switch it off, it's gone. And for me, because I don't really enjoy horror games, right? For me, that was ideal.
Yeah. Yes.
That was ideal. And I liked that. And maybe, again, that was what they were going for. They were going for, you know, a seriously scary game, but at the same time, casual enough that you can switch it off and carry on.
Well, funny you should say that there are actually some funny bits, though. There's totally black humor. But there are some quite hilarious bits. The first time you press the call button on the elevator,
yeah,
the elevator doesn't come. You just kind of hear this, and this body falls down.
Yeah.
It's a bit sick to laugh at that, but it was funny. Right, so to wrap up, enjoyed Outlast. It's a very good game. It's probably my favorite game on the PlayStation 4 right now. Just because it's a game that's really, really up my alley, and the PlayStation library is looking a little bit sad still. But personally, I'd give it an 8.5 out of 10.
Okay, so 8.5 from Thomas. Yep, I think it's a really good game. Well rounded out, you know, no rough, you know, well, there's rough edges, but nothing that, you know, sticks out too much. Maybe not my cup of tea, but, definitely a good game. I'm going to give it a 7.8 out of 10. Which is a good score, you know.
Very respectable score. Yep.
Yeah, it sounds just because it's less than yours. Yeah, it doesn't mean I take away from it or I disagree with you. It's just this is just my take on Outlast.
Sure.
So you ready for a sequel?
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to the DLC, of course, and I would like to see more. It doesn't necessarily have to be a sequel because we have too many sequels these days. But I think that the team have got the right ingredients. They know what they're doing, and if they were to attempt this horror game one more time, I would be well up for that. Love it.
Yeah, well, no more horror games for me. No more horror games for me. Okay, thanks for listening, and I'm out.
Thank you very much. Thanks for listening. See you on the flip side.